the problem for me and why what I'm working on is important to me is that in computer programming and in software engineering, I find myself writing far too many layers. And it's frustrating because most of those layers are simple. And so you could get away with a mechanical way of getting objects across the layers. There's quite a lot of duplication. You know, the types that you use in your API are almost identical to the types that you store in the database. They've got different sort of constraints that I need to deal with, but there is a lot of duplication there. And there's just very little sort of difference between the stuff that goes across the wire, the stuff that you store inside of your application most of the time, and even what you present to the user. When I talk about storing objects in the data store instead of records, what I'm talking about is how can we, the problem is a problem of object representation, and how do we represent objects so that we don't have to do so much transformation to get them backwards and forth across the different layers. Here's my update for the week. So mostly this week, and when I say this week, I'm really talking about yesterday evening. I worked on this update method and an associated insert method for the B tree, and these are, I think that they are feature complete, but I haven't tested them yet. And it's yesterday wasn't the right time to be doing that because it was getting really late and I needed to go to bed. But this is all part of being able to index the objects that are stored into the data store, and like the building block that I need to get right is the B tree. So inserting and updating. Like last week I got the read done, I think, pretty well. Still, like, that's untested to some extent too. But yeah, the insert and the update is where the magic is going to start happening. And I feel like I'm getting really close to having something working there. This whole sort of build something in your spare time thing is, you have to just tolerate things not working for such a long time unless you can extract the time to put into improving it and completing things. And it can seem to take forever. This week notched it forward just another tiny little bit with a little bit of progress. I think that's just the job. You just have to endure not having much to show for such a long time. I'm going to call it there. That's my update for the week. If you like what I'm doing, please let me know. If you think it's worthwhile, I could really use the feedback. If you think that I should change tack and build something different, I told you what my vision is. I've been tossing up the idea that, well, maybe I should be doing code gen instead of building a data store. And I'm still wrestling with that. I love the idea of CodeGen. I think I'm going to call it there, and I'll talk to you next time.